I said, don't worry about this right now. We're just saying, okay, take this one, is we're just saying we use least common multiple when we're finding least common denominator, which we're going to do starting tomorrow. You're going to be finding least common denominator so you can add fractions. You don't need to worry about it this second. Who remembers, if I have 10 over 70, who remembers what we use the greatest common factor for? Nobody remembers what we use the greatest common factor for?
To find the GCF?
Well, we find it, but there's a reason that we find it. In fact, how did we? Oh, we did the GCF like this, I believe. I think we took, no, we didn't. We did it, did we do the upside down division? I think so. 10 and 70. What's the number that goes into both 10 and 70? 5, but is there a bigger? If it ends, both of these end with 0, 10. 10 goes into that once, 10 goes into that 7. That's our reduced fraction. 10 is our greatest common factor, such that if I reduced it out, or I put 10 times 1 and 10 times 7, I can take out that common factor, because 10 divided by 10 is 1, and I get my reduced fraction. So again, you need to know why we're getting them. It's not just to get them to have fun. It's we're going to eventually use them to reduce our fractions, use the least common multiple to add fractions to get our least common denominator. But now, today on this one, we're going to finish this, and then we're going to start on the one that I just gave you. Did I give you law of the donut? Yes, I did. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go back to a couple of these right here. So, and you can use your line paper and make sure that you're copying this down, because if you're not, I'm sending a note home to parents that you're doing nothing in class. And I'm going to pick up your notes from the past days along with your worksheet. If you can't produce them, an email is going home. You know, you can't be spending your parents' money like this and not doing anything. I would be crying if I was a mother or a father. So, you know, if it applies to you, you better listen. All right. So, greatest common factor. If this were a fraction, 6 over 10, it's going to be 2. So there's 2 ways to do it. You could do it in a fraction form and say, okay, 2 times 3, 2 times 5. 2 is our greatest common factor. That reduces that all the way. Or you may do the upside down division. 2 goes into that 3 times, 2 goes into that 5, and that's reduced all the way. So the greatest common factor is going to be on to the left. It is a 2. Right? And we don't have time to draw a line through these, so you're just going to find your answer and check it off. Right? Then this one should be easy. This one should be simple. If I'm reducing 22 over 99, can anybody see? Yeah, the double digits are usually 11. 11 times 2, 11 times 9. And is 2 over 9 reduced all the way?
No.
Yes.
Yes. What else can go into 2 and 9? Other 3 doesn't go into 2. If this 2 is a prime number, you're done. If 2 doesn't go evenly into that, you're done. So our greatest common factor was the 11. That caused us to reduce that all the way. So find your 11. What's that? Did you see me add? I didn't add. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Then let's go ahead. I just have a feeling as we're getting bigger, it's probably better that we do the upside down division. So let's put 18 and 30. Okay. I see a 2 that goes into that.
3.
I also see, you're right, a 3. So go ahead and put a 3. Again, be getting these notes down because I'm going to be coming around to see that you got them down. Right. Then 3 goes into 18 how many times? 6 times. 3 goes into 30 how many times?
10 times.
10. So I'm going to pause just for a second so you can get that. Now, this bottom number is my fraction. Okay, hold on a second. Is 6 over 10 reduced all the way? Is it reduced? Then it's not. So they're both even numbers. 2 can go into both of them. 2. 3 doesn't go into 10. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 5. 2 goes into 10 5 times. Did I? I'm sorry, I didn't give you paper. Oh, I did, but it fell on the floor. All right. So is 3 over 5 reduced all the way? Is 3 over 5 reduced all the way? Yes. Prime number. The 3 does not go into 5 perfectly. Now, over to the left side is our greatest common factor. Is it 3? Is it 2? Or is it another number? Well, that is a common factor.
It's 6.
You're right, it's 6. If you have to go through this process twice, you take those and you multiply these. It is 6. So in other words, if I would have taken 18 divided by 6, I would have gotten that 3 right away. 30 divided by 6, I would have got that 5 right away. I would have reduced it right away. But sometimes it takes that process. So go ahead and put 6 and check it off. All right, you'll survive. All right, then. Now this is an interesting one. It's small enough that I'm just going to set it up as a fraction. So I'm either going to use the fraction method, or if the numbers start getting bigger, I'm going to use the upside down division. Okay. Why would you multiply 16 times 9?
Because there's no...
Okay, but sweetie, I'm trying to get this to be smaller if I can. I'm trying to get it to be...
Oh, but you can do it. There's nothing else actually.
Yosemite, I want you to go ahead and move over one. Go back to where you were. Go back to the seat that I had you signed at.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
I was just trying to check something.
No, it's okay. You don't need to check on anything.
Okay. Then.
Hold on just a second. Alrighty. So how you can check is the only way to break up 9 is 3 times 3. Does a 3 go into 16 perfectly?
No.
No. So no, there's nothing other than 1 that will go into both. But if I divide those by 1, don't I get the same fraction? But the point is, the biggest factor that went into both was, guess what? Was 1. So that is your answer. When it cannot be reduced anymore, that is going to be a 1. Ma'am, that's if I'm doing least common multiple. Okay. If I'm going, and you're right, in this case, I would keep going. There's no 9 in this. There's no 3 in this. I would end up multiplying those. For least common multiple, least common denominator. Let's stop on this one. We're done with that. So this one is a 1. Now go to this one. Hopefully you can see it, but I'm going to do upside down division. Who sees the number? Who sees? Yeah. Is 7 goes into both of them. 7 into 21 is 3. 7 into this is 10. Now, okay, Tennyson, think before you say something. I don't know why you're saying 2. Okay, just slow your brain down. All right, on this one. Is 3 over 10 reduced?
No.
What's still going to go into both of them?
Oh, 10.
Can 10 go into 3?
No.
Girls and boys, this is prime. Okay, this is prime. Does that number go into 10 perfectly? No, you're done. It is reduced all the way. When you see that this is reduced all the way, this is your greatest common factor.
That's a trick.
Okay, it is not a trick question.
I mean,
Okay, Tennyson. Right. Or I could have done it the fraction way, 7 times 3 and 7 times 10. So this was in common. This is reduced all the way. So again, 7 is our greatest common factor. So go ahead and put a 7 for number 5. Let me just double check. Okay, I don't. Hold on just a second. I'm just looking at our time that we have here. We have until 37. So we might start what we need to, but I don't know if we're going to get it done. All right. Okay, I sometimes think we can get more done than we do, but it's not happening. All right, so now we're going to switch brains, and we're going to go to least common multiple. And I can say this a different way. List the multiples. Make a list. So I'm going to do a T-chart, and I'm going to put my 4, and then I'm going to put my 10. And I said yesterday, I mean, you can write the first one down if you want, but it's really the second way that I usually do it. So I could start finding all of these multiples, 8, 12. You're going to see that this is going to take me forever. 16, 20, and let me go to this one. 10, 20, 30, 40, and it's going to take me forever to find a list. Okay. Oh, did we find it? Okay, yeah, all right. So if I find the list, is there something in common? The 20 and the 20. But I could have, in fact, that's the smallest. After I make my list, I look at the common numbers, and the smallest one is that 20. Or you could do it this method, where you know that if we're using the small, it's going to go on and on. So you can use that method where I said, does 4 go into 10 perfectly? No. So no, I don't have my multiple, so I add another 10, which is 20. Does 4 go into 20? Yes. So that is our least common multiple, and I'm going to start calling it our least common denominator when we start adding fractions. So let's find, by the way, that's 7 and 20.
Did we kind of do the little puzzle?
The 7, no, that's why it's too much. The 7 and the 20. Where's 20? Down here. You must check all your answers. All right. Then, again, with the LCM, you're making a list. Yes, ma'am. Make it super fast. You're making a list. So I'm going to make a list. I'm going to do my T-chart. And I'm going to have 8 first and 12. And you can still make a list. Does 8 go perfectly into 12? No. So that means I do not have my least common multiple. Find another multiple of 12. What's 12 plus 12? 24. Does 8 go into 24?
Yes.
Yes. So that means had I kept on going with this one, the third time, 8 times 3 would have given me 24. So it is 24, which is, by the way, our least common denominator. So that is right here. Okay. Then, alrighty. Then, 4 and 25. Okay. If I made a list, this is going to go on forever. I could go, and please don't copy this. It could be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and I'm not there yet. 25 doesn't go into it. So, does 4 go into 25 perfectly?
No.
Let's start finding a list, but I'm going to tell you an easier way in a second. So the next 25 and 25 is 50. Add another quarter to 50, what do you get? And 4 doesn't go into 75 or 50 perfectly. Add another quarter, what do you get? 100. Does 4, is there 4 of a certain coin in 100? You better know your money.
Yeah, yes.
If I have $1, how many quarters are in $1?
4.
4. So 4 does go into this. But here's an example. Watch carefully. Here's an example. And you might get this, you might not. But if I break up that 25, that is 5 times 5. 4 does not go into 25. 4 does not go into 5. 4 does not go into that 5. When you see, girls, and please pay attention, is if 4 does not go into any of those factors, here is a case where you can just multiply those two right away. 4 times 25 is 100. And we'll see another one of those, I think, in just a moment. So this one is 100. And check it off. All right. I think because some of you have to finish a quiz or make corrections, we probably will not get to that other worksheet. All right. And then I need to get some water. But I don't have. Get it? Where do you get it from?
It's so good. It's so refreshing too. It's yummy too.
But I don't have a cup.
Water doesn't have.
Oh, yes, I do.
For me, it does. Yeah, it does.
Just go get some from. Go get some from the little push thing out there. Just.
Water is great. Water is not so hot.
Okay, I can't talk for a second. Okay, I want you to go ahead and try to find the least common multiple for this one. Girls and boys, start setting this one up.
It's 4.
It can't be smaller than either of the numbers. And it's never equal to the smallest one. Because when you're multiplying, these numbers will get bigger. So start seeing if you can find it by doing multiples of this one. Somebody tell me when they have it. You should be finding the multiples right now. Who thinks they know what the next number here is going to be? 80. 12 does not go into 80 perfectly.
There's no more water and there's no water.
It's okay.
It's 48.
That's perfect. All right. All right. What's the next number? It's 120. Do you think 12 goes into 120?
Yes.
Yes. Girl, okay, hold on a second. Well, who is saying no when you see a 12 here and a 12 here? Wouldn't 12 go into that? Okay. Girls and boys, I need you to focus.
10 times.
It goes 10 times. So it goes into that. Which, okay, listen carefully. This brings up another way that's very important that you can find the least common multiple. And it's the upside down division again. Go ahead and put 12 and 40. And then we're going to start. Okay. Okay, you're off topic. Is tell me a number that goes into 12 and 40.
10.
Are those both even numbers? 4 goes into both of them. Or I could have said 2. So put a 4. 4 goes into 12. How many times? 3. 4 goes into this? 10. Now stop. Is 3 over 10 reduced all the way?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so this is a new way that I'm showing you today, because what this is going to give you, and this is so important, and Allison, that's not your seat. This is going to give you three things. This is going to give you the greatest common factor. So if I wanted to reduce this, I could divide by 4, and I'd get 3 over 10, which is what I got here. This number, this is the second thing it gives you. It gives you your reduced fraction. The third thing this will give you, which you really need to know today, is least common, and you should have written this down. If you don't, I'm going to send an email to your parent. So make sure you're getting it down. Is least common multiple, is I'm going to make an L. Starting from here, I'm going to make an L. Here's my L. The least common multiple is when you multiply all of these numbers. 4 times 3 is what? 12. 12 times 10 is what? 120. Okay, so this is a way that we're going to be working with for the rest of this page. And I absolutely know we're not going to get to that other one. But I'm fine. I feel fine. It's just the way I sound. Doesn't sound good. Okay, make it super fast. You better have copied this down because I'm going to be upset if you don't. All right.
But I didn't get that done.
Okay, you need to have it all done. Okay. All right. So what did this come to? This was 120. Find your answer and check it. It's way up here.
Are these good ones? I tried doing this.
Yeah, and some of you might need to get another sheet of paper. Oh, that's very good.
Yes, I don't know if it's confusing. What about this?
Yeah, but now don't write so many notes because then you're not. Yeah, that looks good. But girls, let's go ahead and finish up. So now, from here on out, I'm going to start using that method because look over here. You're going to have to go from greatest common factor to least common multiple of the same numbers. Greatest common factor to least common multiple of the same numbers. So this other way that we're doing is probably going to be the best. So I'm going to put a 15 and a 75. Can anybody see? Always check. Does 15 go into 75?
Yes.
Yes, it does. You need to start knowing that. 15 does go into this one time. Write down these notes. Just open. And 15, start memorizing. 15 will go into 75 5 times. So just start memorizing. 15 into that is 5. Okay. Now, again, to get my least, by the way, is 1/5, is 1 over 5 reduced all the way?
Yes.
Yes. 1 over 5. So this gives me my fraction. My greatest common factor is over to the side, which is 15. My least common multiple is when I draw the L. And I multiply all of those. I can ignore the 1 because 1 times anything is just that same number. So what's 15 times 5? 75. That is our least common multiple. If I start, in fact, if I made a T-chart, that would go into that right away. So it is the 75. 15 goes into 15 once. We're doing the upside down division. So this one is 75. Then, so cross off your 75. Then, now look at these next two. These next two are the same numbers. One time they want the greatest common factor. One time they want the least common multiple. If you need to get another sheet of paper, you can grab one. So we're going to do this upside down chart that will give you everything. So I'm going to put a 10 and I'm going to put a 15. I'm going to do my upside down chart. So get this written down. Dominic, get it written down. Can you see a number that goes into both of those? 5. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 5 goes into 15 3 times. By the way, it's 3. Now look at because this is our fraction. Is 2 over 3 reduced all the way? Yes. They're both prime numbers and they don't go into each other. That means I'm done. Greatest common factor is to the left, which is what? What's the greatest common factor? 5. And then the least common multiple is when I draw the L. So I'm going to draw an L. And what do I do with all 3 of these numbers? I multiply them. So 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 3, you are correct, is 30. So right here, greatest common factor was the greatest common factor was the 5, the number on the left. Least common multiple was the 30. So this gives you everything. Right. So it's really important that you know this method. It's probably one of the best. So let's find our 5 and our 30. 5 and 30 is way up there. All right. I'm so sorry. Okay, then let's go ahead and do the number 13 and 14. It is 8 and 20, and I like to put them from smallest to largest. And again, we're looking for the greatest common factor and the least common multiple. So with this method, you find everything. So who knows a number that goes into both 8 and 20? 4 does, good. 4 goes into 8 2 times. 4 goes into 20, how many? 5. If I put 2 over 5, is that reduced all the way? They're both prime numbers. If you're saying no, tell me what goes into that we could reduce again. Well, you can't because that's it. So we're done. The fraction is 2 over 5. What is the greatest common factor? What?
40.
Where do you see a 40? The greatest common factor is to the left. It's the 4. Here is your greatest common factor. That's the biggest number that caused us to reduce the 8 over 20. And then the least common multiple is when I draw the L. So I'm going to draw the L. And now go ahead and multiply those. What is that when you multiply them?
40.
That is 40. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 4 is 40. Such that if I did a T-chart, 8 wouldn't have gone into that. 20 and 20 is 40. 8 would have gone into 40. But this is, again, this is one where you get them all. So, again, greatest common factor was 4. So put a 4 right here. Least common multiple was 40. So let's find, and I'm going to do one more, and you're going to have 2 more to do, and then I'm going to pick up that other paper that I gave you. Is 4 and 40. Here's our 4 and our 40. And then we're going to do the greatest common factor and least common multiple for 12 and 15. So again, to get everything, you can do this upside down division. What's a number that goes into both? 3. And again, I would have factored out this one because there's only one way. 3 times 5. And 5 doesn't go into this, but 3 does. So 3. 3 into 12 goes 4. 3 into 15 goes 5. This is our fraction. Is 4 over 5 reduced all the way?
Yes.
Yes. That is a prime number, and nothing else goes into it. 5 doesn't go into 4. Any part of 4 doesn't go into 5. You're done. So from this, you should know right away which is the greatest common factor. The 3. It's to the left. And then for the least common multiple, I draw the L. And what do you do with those numbers? So go 5 times 4 first. 5 times 4 is 20. And then if you have 3 20s, what is that? 60. So this is our greatest common factor was the 3, and the least common multiple is 60. So find 3 and 60. I thought we used all of these up, but maybe not. But anyway, you're going to go ahead now and you're going to do 17 and 18. That's one chart. 16 and 24, that's another chart. So you're going to end up only having to do 2 charts like that, and you will be done. So you may go ahead and start on that. Yes, sir.
Remember,
What's your question?
for number 7,
I'm not doing it. You do it.
6.
You can start with 6. Sometimes it might take you a second. In fact, actually, that is a good question. So let's suppose I was doing 8 and 20, because something like this might happen on 17 and 18. But I don't want to do 17 and 18 because it's the only one you've got left, or the only 2. Let's suppose I didn't see the 4. Let's suppose I only saw 2. 2 into that is 4. 2 into that is 10. But you should see that this can be reduced again. By what?
3.
Okay, I'm looking at this one, Tennyson. I'm doing this example. I'm not doing your work.
Oh.
You should see that this 2 goes into it again. So 2 into that goes 2. 2 into that goes 5. You might have an occasion where it takes you 2 times to do this. Well, what is your greatest common factor on the left? What do you have to do with these 2 numbers? Multiply. So my greatest common factor would be 4. It's when I multiply these 2. My least common multiple is still when I draw the L, starting from that upper number all the way through. And then I would multiply all of these. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40, which is what we got when we did it up here. So I just wanted to show you that sometimes it may take you 2 steps, but in the end, the greatest common factor will come out the same. The least common multiple will come out the same. So you might have to go through that on the number 17. And you may begin, and I'm going to shut this off.